Hello everybody, welcome to Dakman Productions and welcome to the Great Scale Train Show here in Timonium, Maryland, February 5th, 2022, 8 o'clock in the morning on this windy day. As you can see, my hair is like flying around. That's alright. We're here for trains and not for my hair. Looking forward to another great train show, back again in Timonium. One of my favorite train shows to attend, so we'll see what we see today. Okay, waiting line. It's 29 degrees and it's windy, so yeah, waiting line for you guys. Only 15 minutes to go. So I'm not the only crazy one who seems to be waiting in line on this 29-degree windy day, waiting 10 minutes to get inside. So my first vendor stop is this custom model railroads. They offer laser cut kits, and let me tell you, they are some beautiful buildings here. So if you're looking for buildings that you just want to buy and put on your layout, you don't want to spend the time making them on your own, and here you go. There's places like or vendors like these that sell them at train shows. And of course, not everybody was happy. I've seen a couple people come up to the vendor and ask them, "Why is this building that price?" Well, I mean, look at the quality of building you're getting. You just couldn't build something like this on your own in a day or so. So there's a lot of time that goes into these, and they look very good. So then I walk over to a vendor who's selling shirts. And there's a lot of shirts and hats that actually that are catching my eye here. So, but I'll pan around and show you guys a few of the railroad names here. And if you're looking for your favorite railroad name, I'm pretty sure this vendor had it. So I'm moving around here. I'm eyeing up those Jersey Central hats. There's an Alco hat, although I'm not an Alco fan. And so we have a sweatshirt. So I look at that Penn Central sweatshirt. Then I'll move on to the next table and just looking at the different names of shirts. There's a Penn Central. And then this Conrail catches my eye. I like the Conrail stuff that he had there. There was a Conrail overstamp Penn Central. He had the Conrail number 4800, nicknamed Old Rivets. Um, I was really considering that Conrail overstamp Penn Central, but I think I would have rather had the Reading so I could mess with my buddy Walt. There's a overstamp Penn Central Pennsylvania Railroad shirt, so it's just cool stuff. And it's neat to see they offered overstamp shirts too as well, and patched out shirts. Although I'm an O gauge 3 rail person, I do follow along with other scales we're doing, such as HO and this proto throttle. I think it's so cool that they actually made a proto throttle that's got the basically the same kind of controls that a diesel locomotive would have, and I just found that to be neat. Not sure how it works, but if I was HO, I would probably consider this. So there were vendors that are offering to build you a custom layout or offering layouts that are already built to for sale for those who don't have the time to build their own, or they feel as though they couldn't build one that would fit their needs as far as quality and details. And here we have a layout that's done here by JD Hobbies, and it looks pretty good. It has bridges and a river and buildings, so this is a very cool layout, I thought. So we'll take a look at their card here in case anybody's interested, and that's JD Hobbies. There you go. So if you're a fan of the Walthers products, there were a couple vendors selling the Walthers products. Walthers seems to have a pretty good following. Like I said, there was a couple vendors selling quite a bit of Walthers, and so we'll walk down here a little bit, And then, if you're interested, here's the vendor selling it, Kim's Trains and Things. So here we have the DC area independent high railers, one of my favorite O gauge model train clubs that come to the Great Scale Model Train Show. Um, so they're a high rail club. They have the Gargraves track. They're running a true scale, three rail O scale trains. So I, I I like what they're doing here, and they have a lot of details on their layout. And they changed their layout up for this year, and they added a cool yard. So they did expand their layout. Um, a smaller group, a smaller club. I think he said there was like only 4 or 5 members, and so we're going to swing around and look at some different structures and buildings. Um, so we have a train going by, and we'll listen to the train. So when I decided to get back into O Gauge in 2015, the DC Independent High Railers was another club that I would look closely at the shows and see what they did, just to get ideas, because I knew I wanted to be high rail as well. And then you can see the different buildings. I believe that's a Corber kit, uh, that red building there. Not 100% sure, but it does look like a Corber kit. But I like the details that go into the high rail layout and the fact that they use scale size trains, and it's great because these clubs are so helpful. They give you information. Check out this. I love this. Uh, Basically, it's like a takeout um, stand for food. They call it the hot box. So I thought that was just a neat idea. It's stuff like that you get. I'm like, wow, I would have never thought of that. I've seen cabooses. Hobo caboose, a hobo boxcar. But who would have thought of building a takeout stand out of a box car? So that was a neat idea. I love that. I, I don't know who made that. If that's something that's already made, I probably would buy it. But at any rate, so we're moving down. Like I said, this yard area is all new to them. Uh, all new track, and they did expand. Um, Nice scenery, nice trees. Um, Having that big yard allows them to stage trains in an area. So go ahead and move along to the other side. Now, normally this greenhouse would have smoke coming out of it. They do have the fire chief car lights on. Normally the fire truck would have its lights on. But I was a little early this morning, so none of that was really set up. But still, I mean, you can get a lot of ideas from coming to train shows to put into your own layout, and then if you have questions, you can ask the members, and they'll help you out with on how to do things or how they did something on their layout that you want to do. And we circle around. We're back to where we started from. So next up, we have the Baltimore Area American Flyer Club, which is S gauge for those who aren't familiar. So this is an S gauge club, which you don't hardly see at train shows. I think S gauge is pretty cool, and I'm surprised it really didn't take off because I think it's actually the perfect size. It's not too big like O gauge, and it's not too small like HO. So basically, I think it made it a perfect size. For some reason, it just didn't seem to take off. So we're gonna look at the this pretty big S gauge layout, and look at the different things and vehicles and buildings, and it's really cool. Uh, they did a really nice job putting this together. I like this truck facility they put there. You can see the interstate highway and the truck stop in the back. They did a nice job. I really like that. And me being a truck guy, of course, I'm going to like it. And you can see the highway there, another truck, and you'll see a lot of the S gauge original buildings and stuff you'll see throughout here. And S gauge was made by American Flyer. It was made by Lionel. It was made by Gilbert. So there was a couple different S gauge manufacturers out there. S Helper made some S gauge there for a little while before it was sold off. So here we have another train coming, and we'll see that come through. So that was sort of cool to see something a little modern on the S gauge layout. We go ahead and we move along, and I was told that this club had this Ferris wheel for many, many years. Other people, remember seeing this Ferris wheel when they were kids. So I've only been coming to this show for the last maybe 5 or 6 years. So uh, but that's a cool Ferris wheel. It is a neat piece. And then we'll pass through. We'll see S is 3/16 to the foot or 1/64 scale. So they're explaining to the visitors what S gauge or S scale is. So I continue the tour of the S gauge layout. This is the yard area. Pretty nice big yard for S gauge. For all the, I'm pretty sure for the staging of the multiple amount of trains that they run. And so we're going to continue on down, and we'll look at some S gauge accessories here. As you can see, more buildings, structures, cars, vehicles, and all kinds of fun stuff. Um, Very nicely done layout. Once again, you hardly see any S gauge at shows, but this is a neat layout to visit when you're at the Great Scale Train Show. So now we're taking a look at the Maryland T Track Club. Seems like the T Track is showing up at the train shows now. Seems to be really taking off, really popular. And so this is the Maryland T Track Club. And I like how they actually incorporated a G scale flat car into their T track system. So here we have a train crossing over, you know, a G scale flat car. I thought this is a good idea. So and Heath of Human City Junction uh, is into T track, so he does some cool videos. So check him out. But this is something that's really taken off T track, and it's like a modular system. So we'll go ahead and continue our tour of this T track modular layout. They did a real nice job with the scenery and how everything just comes together. I thought, and it was really cool just to look over everything. And we're walking along, looking at the little buildings and structures that they have. And we walk around to the other side here. Now we're going to take a look at something really interesting. Here is a Lego layout. So this layout is made entirely from all Legos. So we got Freon Brothers cold storage there. That's a Lego building. The trains are Lego trains. So it's it's really neat. The scenery is all Lego. So we're gonna go ahead and pan around. I like that Lego refrigerator car. It's actually parked in front of the building. That's really cool. So here we have some trains. Let's watch.
Kits are here, like that. This unit right here was a limited run kit that's available, but the guy who bought it is the guy
All right, so we continue on. There is a Lego bascule bridge we'll look at here in a moment. Uh, but right now I'm panning down, watching this Lego train go by. And then we'll go back and look at this bascule bridge of how they actually made it motorized. It really does work. It opens and it closes. It was really neat how they did all this. So here you go. You get to see how they motorized it. And once again, everything being used looks to be all Lego. Lego trains, Lego track. Here we have Lego scenery being used. And then it looks like there was a couple different groups that got together to make this layout. And there will be a flyer here on the corner, which will explain to everybody, you know, what this display is. So there's the flyer, and looks like they're calling themselves L Gauge Modular System .org, and below there is the groups that got together to sort of like make this. All right, so here we're going to have a train crossing over Lego Bridge with a river under it. Really neat system, really neat setup. Um, Great entertainment for people to see when they come to a show for sure. Here's the Yankee Dabbler. He seems to be at quite a few train shows. A lot of people buy from him though. Here is Star Hobby. They're in Annapolis, Maryland. They're a big Bachman dealer. They also sell quite a bit of Thomas. So we're gonna go ahead and walk down their aisleway here, and they usually have a pretty big vendor booth during this show. And as you can see, HO. They bring some G scale with them as well, which we'll see here in a moment. Here are some examples or samples of Bachman trains that they sell. So if anybody's looking for anything particular, I'll just pan through a couple things here. That looks like some OM30 there in the background. Here's some of their G scale stuff that they bring with them to sell. Bachman, some older aristocrat. So they try to bring a variety of G scale and HO. There's the Bachman egg liners. So they're also a Bachman distributor as well, from my understanding. There was a little bit of post-war Lionel at this show, so we'll go down this table here and show some of the post-war trains that were for sale during this show. There's a sub-flat car. I recognize a few pieces here. So here we have the Circus Rose HO display, and this focuses on the actual Circus Rose trains that were used for transportation. It did a real nice job with the scenery on this, I thought. And everything seems to focus on the Circus Rose. Not sure if many people heard of the Circus Rose, but you can see there's a lot of circus related stuff on this layout. Stuff that was either used by the circus or transporting the circus or in the circus. He did a real nice job of detailing everything here. The buildings, uh, the figures, the vehicles. Real nice job, I thought. And here we have the Circus Rose train coming through. And basically, it makes a loop through this town here. And then you got the fire department right there. Uh, I can't imagine how much time this took to create this. There was a vendor there who was selling Menards trains and structures. I was kind of like intrigued. But yeah, I it's kind of cool to see this, and I got to see the Menards structures in person. I was really eyeing up that Schneider's building there, which we'll take a better look at. Get the Morton Salt, and then there's the Schneider's building there, the trucking building I was looking at. But I thought it would be a little too wide for where I was looking at using it. It was a good price though. I thought this stuff was reasonably priced for what you see it for on eBay. You got the firehouse right there, the UFO, Starbucks, the Oak Point nuclear facility. So here we have some more circus trains. I know there's people who love circus trains, so I wanted to include all of them here in my video. And so we'll just enjoy the trains running. So we got another circus layout display. This one features animated amusement park rides. It's really cool. Seems to be HO. And so we'll sit back and enjoy this one as well. So there seems to be quite a bit of circus train displays here at this particular show. Like I said, I'm including it, trying to include this circus stuff for those who like the circus trains, and so there are some neat setups here. Too many clowns, not enough circuses. Why does that remind me of Heath when I read that? I don't know. But anyway, just kidding, Heath. But, oh, and here we have some O-gauge trains or O-gauge circus trains running here. So we'll take a look at them. Okay, next up we have the National Capital Trackers O-Gauge layout. Notice it's not a high rail layout. It's more or less like a traditional type of modular layout using 2 meter track in most of the places. There's a mix of scale and traditional. It looks like it's just a club that loves to run whatever in O-Gauge. So, and they have some neat, cool structures in here. So we'll take a look around. I really like this Washington D.C. area scene that they created here. It's just a cool scene with the cherry blossom trees and the flags around the monument. Here we have the Santa Fe coming through. Um, Really neat scene. And it's been quite a while since the National Capital Trackers have been to a great scale train show. So it's good to see them back in action again. And once again, we have some other trains coming through. So we're going to go ahead and keep walking around and take a little tour of the layout, just to see the little different things that they have. Here we got a lift out bridge, uh, some scenery right there. Menards, FedEx. I would like to have that. That would fit on my layout. Then we got the Menards, Starbucks. So I'm starting to see quite a bit of Menards show up on different layouts. The Red Owl, that's Menards. I believe everything here is Menards. Then we'll move around here, moving along, and as you can see, it's they're using a traditional O gauge track here. Very neat. And as you can see, they got a mix of scale and semi scale, and they actually had two separate layouts this time around, which is kind of neat. So we'll take a look at the second one as well. Walk through it. Here we have, I believe that's a Lion Chief chassis system, and scroll around. We got the NCT National Capital Trackers is what that stands for. Uh, I know before in the past they would make one huge layout, but it looks like they decided to make two separate layouts this time around. And so you can see the different scenery. Really neat and different. Here you have the uh, Lionel suburban Lionville houses and another lift out bridge. Here we have a little industrial scene. Got the diner back there, the two different tank cars. So, like I said, you'll see a mix of different styles of trains. You know, O gauge, semi scale, traditional, post war, modern. They really got a mix in here, and some more scenery. And you got that My Jack or Jack that's right there. The Long Island passenger cars. I know there's a YouTube channel that loves the Long Island. So it was kind of neat to see this display at the show. Next, we have the Western Maryland Historical Society. They got a nice layout over here, so we'll take a look at that. So this layout has a pretty big footprint, but it features different scenes of where the Western Maryland Railroad had run on, and you'll find other different road names running on this layout as well. And here we have Western Maryland train. I stopped by to visit, but we're going to go ahead and move on. Um, and like I said, you'll see different scenes of actual places that either existed at one point in time or may still be around. I'm not sure. But the Western Maryland Railroad it's a huge layout, and it travels through different uh, areas. There is some great scenery on this particular layout. As you can see, train tracks coming across there, that area. Then we wind around and keep going. It's this is something you would see in somebody's basement in their home. I mean, this thing is just so huge. And there you go, the Western Maryland Railway. Um, let's check out this coal drag train. Next up, we have the Mead Area Railroad Society, or MARS for short. They usually put on a good show, and they have some great scenery as well. So we're going to go ahead and take a look around their layout. And they're HO, but still they do a lot of nice stuff. And I've always said, you know, you can apply what a club is doing to any scale, actually. So we're taking a walk around, and they got some nice buildings, and some stuff is finished and some stuff is not. But as anybody would say, layouts are always under construction in one way or another. You're never really finished unless you're doing a 4x8 layout, and sometimes you're always working on that too. And I like this sign, so I focused in on it. They do some different scenes. We got this lift out bridge, and then we'll move on to a city, a station. There's going to be passenger trains that will be under the station. So they put a lot of stuff into a compact area. And so there you go. There's Union Station. There's the New York Central. I believe that's the Dreyfus. But don't quote me on that because I'm not really a steam locomotive expert by any means. So this is another huge HO layout on display. Check out this huge yard I mean, this yard is humongous. Uh, so the HO layouts here, I mean, they're big, and they have a lot of trains that they run on here. But I couldn't even fit this layout in my house, let alone in here. uh, you know, but I'm having fun doing this too. It's people are like, "Do you really like doing this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. I love going to the train shows. I love meeting the members and talking to them. It doesn't matter what scale the clubs are. I'll stop by and talk to them and check out what they're doing and the different trains that they're running. You got that Milwaukee Road passenger set back there. That looked really good. I'm really liking this intermodal train a member had built, and it's headed by Canadian Pacific. So, uh, Ravenhawk, if you're watching this one's for you. I know you like the Canadian Pacific, and so there's quite a bit of Canadian stuff on this train, which not too many people seen the model, but you got the Canadian National. There's a lot of nice Canadian Pacific stuff on here. So Ravenhawk's building an HO scale layout. So moving along, and I found this or spotted this Penn Central truck. I really like that. I would love to have that in O gauge for my Conrail layout. And then moving along, just checking out the different scenes they have built. Uh, Check out the taxis. Got the Woodard Tower there. And like I said, some of it's finished and some of it's not. But moving on, and we're right here, almost back to the beginning. So we'll visit another layout here. Next up, we have the Northern Virginia N track layout. And this is another cool one here. So we'll move along and visit the different scenes. And this is all N gauge, of course. But once again, very impressive for its size being an N gauge layout. A lot of people like N gauge because of its smaller size. But they pack a lot of scenery in this N gauge layout. Uh, I think it would be too small for me to handle because that's my eyesight. But it's still cool to visit these different clubs. So if you like Engage and this club is in your area, feel free to look them up and check out this refinery area. Another cool piece of the layout, you got this refinery there. And a lot of these layouts are built to certain standards, certain heights and lengths and stuff like that. So let's check out some Penn Central train action. I like Penn Central because Conroe took them over when they failed.
Credit for. Okay, yeah, great. And there's an HO guy that we used to know down in actually in New York. The first time we went there, it was fully based on the layout. First time we went there, his brother was 15 now. At the time, I think he was 9 or 10. Yeah. And Ken brought one of his old trains around. Yeah. And he took candy all over. Oh, stop out there like these times he was never be made. There you go. Yeah, I like your shirt, buddy. Yeah, that was all the different Hey Mark, break free. There's a pipe stuff.
Here's another favorite of the show, the Four County Societies of Model Engineers, another huge HO layout. This one winning awards for certain modules in our layout. The craftsman here, or the craftsmanship here, is bar none. I mean, it's wonderfully done. A lot of details and scenery. So we're going to take a walk around here and see all the different stuff. Now, I have shot video of trains running through here, but I never actually taken a video tour of it. And of course, you can only get so close because they do have it roped off. I like the fact that they don't put up the plexiglass like many other layouts do. So you get to see the layout without trying to look over plexiglass and look down on top of it. Instead, you can look at it, which I feel is a much more better experience viewing a layout, is to view it straight ahead instead of looking down on top of it. That's just my opinion. Um, but at any rate, so you can see the wonderful trains that are on display. Once again, this is a pretty big footprint in itself. And we'll wind around here. Here we got a Santa Fe train. It's just a huge layout. Now, some of these, sometimes you run into problems and issues and you get bugs where trains stop running and you have to fix stuff, and that does happen. So normally I'll catch a lot of footage of trains running through, but they just seem today or this day they had some electrical bugs that they had to take care of. And here you can see this is one of the modules that actually won an award at the Amherst Railway Society. So we'll go ahead and move around. And there's just so many different areas and scenes you can film in, you can photograph. So it makes for a great video, I'm sure, filming trains running through the different areas. And here you can see the industrial buildings that they have set up. Then we go into mountains and stuff. I just can't imagine how much time this took to build. And I'm sure each member probably built a module or two. I'm not sure how this particular club works it. But most of the clubs, they have the different members build a module and they tell them, look, you got to build two 4 8-foot modules, or you know, and then they build it to the height and put their own scenery and stuff on here. And here we have they're working on this train in this area. So I was kind of like surprised they didn't have a lot of O gauge for sale at the train show. Normally they have quite a few O gauge vendors, but not this time around. And you can see the different things that are for sale. I'll just take a quick look around different areas. Here's some Lionel, but if you're an HO guy, then this show is for you. Next up, we have a G-scale layout on display. So we'll take a look at that because you don't see too many G-scale trains running to great scale train shows. So it's a small display. It's just a one guy operation, but he just wants to try and promote the garden train hobby here, or the garden railway hobby. And so he's got some different things running, so people can take a look at what's going on here. And so he is advertising for a club, and we'll take a look at that flyer because I don't think I've heard of that club before. So we're going to go ahead and give them a shout out because I do like to try and advertise clubs. So here you go. They are on Facebook as well. So here's an O gauge display that's demonstrating a couple sets, a Polar Express and a Halloween train set. So we'll take a look at them. So once again, there was a couple places offering ready-to-run layouts or custom-built layouts, such as the one you see right here. So this is an example of, let's say somebody doesn't have the time to invest in something, but they want to know if there's somebody that builds layouts, and here you go. Here we have Rail Scale Models, another vendor for laser cut building kits. And so you can see the detail that goes into these. So they're pretty neat kits. Looks like they got the N gauge and HO. So check them out. And very cool details. I mean, check out this scene. Every time I go by some HO locomotive models, it looks so tempting because HO people get everything, it seems like. So next up we have the Baltimore Society of Model Engineers. This is a O-scale 2-rail layout. So generally speaking, when you say O-scale, it's 2-rail. I know I say O-scale to describe my layout because it's a high-rail layout, but at any rate, this is a true O-scale layout because it is 2-rail. Alright, so let's check out this O-scale 2-rail train running. Alright, so it's the end of the day for Dakman Productions here. Another good day of watching trains. A little disappointed in there wasn't a lot of O-scale trains for sale today, but maybe we'll get better next show. See you guys later.